Welcome to my channel. My name is Tilo, and today's video is basically going to be on taking out the transmission out of my BAS4. It's going to be a bunch of clips that I've taken while I've been working on this car, and it's just documenting the process of removing it. Not all of it was recorded, but you know, there's some spots here and there that I recorded that might help others. It's not a complete instructional video, it's just some tips and tricks. So hopefully this helps anybody out that's willing to do the job themselves. Not too many videos out there of people taking out these transmissions. And I'm going to be replacing my stock clutch and flywheel that has over 160,000 miles on with a ECS flywheel and a Clutch Masters FX400. So on their website they say that the clutch is rated for 475 foot-pounds of torque. Yeah, so just watch the video, whatever. But this is what I'm doing to break loose the triple square bolts that are holding the drive shaft. I did the same to the back. I got all those out. And so yeah, basically just wedging that little pry bar and resting it up against the body of the car, and then get the triple square in and twist it. There you go. That one's loose, and this is already loose. Yesterday I unbolted both sides, and the front part came out pretty easily, but the back was it was pretty stuck in there because of all the rust. Put some heat with a heat gun, some WD-40, and then hit it with a hammer and a punch, and knocked it loose. I already undid the axle bolts here on both passenger and driver side, and I'm working on taking out the transmission bolts and also the flex plate bolts that are in here that I'm gonna have a bit of a hard time getting to. But one thing I noticed is when I was loosening the bell housing bolts is that they were very easy to break loose. All right, so loosening the flex plate bolt is by using a small pry bar, getting it in this little access hole here, and sticking it in the flywheel teeth and bracing it up against the transmission, and then turning the wrench. I am using this tool here as an extension because trying to break it loose just with the ratchet here isn't enough. So I get this tool here to give you more leverage, and worked out perfectly fine. And then these should just come out by hand. Easy peasy. To the next bolt, you got to turn the engine over clockwise. So from back here, I should be turning it counterclockwise, little by little, until I get the next bolt. Yeah, you definitely need a good set of triple square sockets. There's clutch slave cylinder. Then for the transmission mount, you got 4 here, and then for the transmission mount insert, you got another 2, and I think these are 10. Same shit with the clutch slave cylinder, and then the bolt that holds on the steering column to the power steering. Also, see that hole there had a 10 triple square bolt. So get yourself a good set of triple square sockets. All right, some more tips and tricks. So to get the gear selector off, it's on there pretty tight. What you do is you loosen the 13 millimeter nut there, and you don't take it all the way out. You just leave some threads in. You get a pry. I've already loosened it, but you get a pry bar. You put it between the trans and the gear selector. Then you get a hammer and you lightly tap it until it starts to back out. So I've gotten it out most of the way. Let's see if I can pull it out. Nope, still gotta tap it a little bit more. But that's how you take that off. And you wanna be careful not to, oh, there it goes. There it goes, it came out. You wanna be careful and not, you know, according to ECS, they're saying not to bang hard on it because you can mess up the selector or the transmission. So there it is, out of the way, and there's more stuff to unbolt to get this transmission out. But there's two bolts that are very hard to get to, and I've finally been able to get to them. One is the starter bolt, and then the other bolt is right above it. That's the starter bolt that I'm working on getting out right now. And then right above it, you can see that hole. That's where the other pain in the ass bolt is. To get to that one, I used a lot of extensions and came out on the other side of the transmission. Where's that? There we go. Above there on the driver's side, and I was able to wrench it out. But the starter bolt, I was able to get through here, right where the catalytic converter is. I was able to wedge the wrench here with some extensions, and then you'd see where it came out up there. Now the downpipe is in the way, so there you see all the extensions that I had to use. And instead of trying to go all the way to the back of the transmission, which is a big pain in the ass to get all these extensions out there at the angle that it's in, I was able to get to it through here, down through here. And that's the last bolt that I need to get out to be able to drop the trans. All right, so to get to this last bolt, the starter bolt, what I did is this is my little setup here, some Wobble extensions, and I snuck it past the downpipe here, like so, and then with the extensions like this, I was able to push it through, feel around, and get it on the bolt. And then once I got the socket on the bolt, I added the rest of the extensions out here and came out this way. So it's a pain in the ass to get to that one fucking bolt, but I got it. All right, so now I'm just gonna lift the transmission back. Have this transmission mount here, whatever it's called, cross brace, sitting flush where it mounts, and then I'll be able to pull the trans back. So one of the holdups as far as trying to take the transmission out was the fact that I had the engine support bar already taut on the engine support hooks here, so I wasn't able to drop the transmission low enough for me to be able to knock those two bolts loose. So there's a trans, can't get it all the way out, but I got enough space down here to install the new clutch and flywheel. But for the B8s, 2010 to 2012, if you have the hydraulic power steering, you're gonna have to remove one of the hard lines to be able to get that axle through, if you're gonna drop it all the way down. So I undid it. I'm gonna try to move the transmission around so I can get that axle out, because you need to get the driver's side axle out to be able to pull out the clutch and flywheel module. So there it is. All right, got the clutch out, and this son bitch is heavy. Pulls out quick, but then you don't expect the weight, but it's out. And man, there's a lot of play here. All right, so here are the two clutches. The stock clutch, which I'm gonna guess has 160,000 miles on it. I believe it's the original one, because it don't seem like anybody actually got that transmission out. And then here's the ECS lightweight flywheel and the FX 400 Clutch Masters clutch. So this was like 33 pounds, and then the stock one weighed about 45. So as you can see, the fingers are kind of blue looking, definitely indicates some heat. And yeah, one thing that I noticed on the car, whenever I would shut it off, I would hear a clunk, like clunk clunk, anytime I would shut it off. And one day I decided to get underneath and put a camera down, and I shut off the car, and I noticed through the little inspection hole on the transmission that the flywheel kept spinning after I shut the car off. And oh, look at this. So yeah, I don't think that's supposed to happen. Yeah, you see that? That's pretty bad. So I'm gonna take it apart and see what else I find. All right, so I broke the bolts loose. I'm using my Dinshare electric ratchet. I forgot how much it was on Amazon, but cheap, and it helps with taking bolts out. Not much power to it, but once you break them loose, it definitely cuts some time down on taking out bolts. A lot of clutch material. There's a lot of play in this flywheel. There we go. So a lot of hot spots. I will admit, since buying this car, I have driven the shit out of it plenty of times. Why would you buy a fucking manual transmission and then drive it like a bitch, right? And like I said, this car has 160,000 miles on it, so I wouldn't be surprised if previous owners were also doing stupid shit with the car. So yeah, here is the friction disc, and you can notice where the grooves are supposed to be, they're flush. Same thing on the back. Yeah, this clutch was slipping hard. Never really did any hard launches on it, but anytime I would go full throttle, I want to say half the time the clutch would slip. And here's the flywheel, and I think it's more than done. Look at that. So that's as much as I can do as far as taking it apart. There you go. So upgrading it with the ECS lightweight flywheel, paired up with the Clutch Masters FX 400. I think it's a 6-puck clutch or 8-puck. I don't remember. Check out Elite Race Fab. It's a veteran-owned company. I got that Clutch Masters clutch for like $900, $950 shipped. And I also bought the shocks and struts for the S4 off of them. They were the Coney Special Active shocks, and got them for a good deal from them. Like I said, they're veteran owned. Oops. They do offer, supposedly they offer some good discounts. I was looking for a heat exchanger from them, and their price was lower than anybody else's. Plus they had free shipping. And this is going in the, this is one of the reasons why I also upgraded to a aftermarket flywheel. This whole setting of the self-adjusting clutch, I didn't want to deal with that bullshit. So if you want something to zap nuts and bolts off, I'll put a link to this Dinshare. It came with some extensions and sockets that probably aren't worth a damn, and 2 batteries, and they'll hold for quite a while. I started using it again when I was taking the transmission out, and I do not remember the last time I charged or used the battery or the wrench here, and I was able to use that one battery for quite a lot before I had to recharge it and pop the new one in. So I'll put a link in the description for this one. And yeah, I guess that's it for now, man. Now I'm still waiting on some odds and ends to be able to put this transmission back. You need some specific Audi sealing grease for that front axle that goes through the transmission. Once I get that, I'll start slapping shit on. All right, so here's the drive plate or the flex plate. So the flywheel, the back end of the flywheel bolts onto here, and then this bolts onto the crank with like, what is it, 10 or 12 T12 triple squares. So now I'm going to be replacing the pilot bearing in here, and you're supposed to use a large socket, put it underneath, and then pound it out with a soft hammer. But to take it out, counter holding, same shit as all the other stuff I've been counter holding, is you put 2 bolts in, you get a pry bar, wedge it in there, and break them loose. So yeah, now I'm going to take that old one out and put the new one in. Alright, didn't get to record this, but new pilot bearing is in, and heat is definitely your friend. This was kind of stuck in there, so I had to heat the outside here with the heat gun for a bit. I mean, it's still hot to the touch, and then once I heated it up, that pilot bearing came out pretty quick. And then I did put the new one in the freezer for not that long, but put it in there just to cool it down, and I was able to get it in. So if you do want a good video, go to FCP Euro's YouTube page, and they have a 2-part video on them taking out the transmission and also installing the clutch. Alright, so thanks for watching. Hopefully some of these tips help you, not just with the B8S4, but like counter holding stuff. Hopefully that helps with whatever transmission you're working on. And I'll put links in the description on the tools that I've been using, like the electric ratchet and the triple square bits and all that. And yeah, if you have any questions, just put it down in the comments. I'll try to answer them as best I can, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Alright, so hopefully you stuck around to the end of the video. I'm here on the ground where I've been doing most of my work from. So this is how much room I'm working with, and it is very possible to work on the trans with the car on jack stands. So thanks for watching. Go out there and work on your cars if you have any. Just learn to do the shit yourself instead of paying somebody a fuck ton of money to do it. It's rewarding when you do something and see results. So